My name is John. I was once very bad at speaking English. One day, I was asked to introduce myself in front of a group. I stood up nervously and said, "My name John, and I am from city." Everyone laughed. I felt embarrassed. My face turned red. After that, I tried to avoid speaking English. I was afraid of making mistakes again, but deep down I wanted to be good at English. I wanted to speak with confidence. I wanted to stop being scared. Many of you may feel the same. Maybe you feel stuck because of your English mistakes. You might think, "I can't do it." But let me tell you, mistakes are the first step to success. In this video, I will share my story. You will learn how I faced my mistakes and improved my English. I grew up in a small town where people mostly spoke our native language. English was taught in schools, but we didn't use it much in daily life. For me, English was just another subject, like math or history. I thought, why bother? I won't need this. But everything changed when I got older. I realized that English was everywhere. It was in movies, on the internet, and in jobs. People who spoke English well seemed more confident. They had better opportunities. I decided to learn English, but I faced many challenges. My vocabulary was small. My grammar was terrible. I would say things like, "He don't like it," instead of, "He doesn't like it." I also pronounced words wrong. People corrected me, but I still made the same mistakes. Worst of all, I was scared to speak. Every time I tried, I thought people would laugh at me. Sometimes they did. It hurt my confidence. I wanted to give up many times. Then I saw a video online. The person in the video said, "Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you are trying." Those words gave me hope. I decided to change my mindset. I told myself, I will make mistakes, but I will learn from them. I started my English journey with small steps. I made a plan to practice every day. I didn't know where to start, so I tried many methods: reading books, watching English shows, and talking to myself in English. My journey was not easy, but I kept going. Over time, I saw improvement. I made fewer mistakes, and I felt more confident. Now I want to share my story with you. I believe that anyone can improve their English no matter how bad they think they are. If I can do it, so can you. In this video, I will share the mistakes I made, how I corrected them, and the lessons I learned. I hope my story inspires you to keep trying. I decided to share my story for one reason: to help others like me. I know how hard it feels to make mistakes. I know the fear of being laughed at. I know the frustration of trying and failing again and again. Many people give up because they think they are not smart enough to learn English. They say, "It's too late for me," or "I can never be fluent." But that's not true. Learning English is not about being perfect. It's about trying every day and getting a little better each time. In this video, I will show you that mistakes are not your enemy. They are your best teacher. Every mistake you make is a step closer to fluency. My story is not just about my struggles. It's about finding ways to improve. It's about how I turn my weaknesses into strengths. I want you to know that you are not alone in this journey. If you feel stuck, don't lose hope. You can improve. You can succeed. All it takes is effort and the right mindset. By the end of this video, I hope you will feel inspired and ready to face your own English challenges. Common mistakes learners make. When I started learning English, I noticed I made many mistakes. Over time, I realized that these mistakes are common for most learners. Let me share some of them with you. First, grammar mistakes. Many learners, including me, say things like he don't instead of he doesn't. Small errors like these can make a big difference. I also struggled with tenses. For example, I would say, I go to school yesterday instead of I went to school yesterday. Second, pronunciation. English words can be tricky. For instance, I used to pronounce comfortable as com-for-table. People often misunderstood me because of my poor pronunciation. Third, lack of vocabulary. I wanted to say many things, but I didn't know the right words. This made me feel stuck during conversations. I used simple words like good or bad because I didn't know better alternatives. Fourth, fear of speaking. Even when I knew the right words, I was scared to speak. I thought people would judge me or laugh at me. This fear made me stay quiet, which slowed my progress. These mistakes may sound familiar to you. If you are making them, don't worry. They are normal. Every learner faces these challenges. The good news is they can be fixed with practice and patience. In this video, I will show you how I overcame these mistakes. I will share tips that worked for me and can work for you too. Remember, no one is perfect. Making mistakes is part of learning. Let's move forward together and see how you can turn these mistakes into lessons. Transition to John's journey. When I first started learning English, I felt lost. I didn't know where to begin. Should I study grammar? Should I practice speaking? Should I read books? It was overwhelming. But then I remembered a saying, every journey begins with a single step. I decided to take that first step. I made a promise to myself. I will not quit, no matter how hard it gets. The first thing I did was write down my goals. I wanted to speak English fluently. I wanted to feel confident in conversations. I wanted to stop feeling afraid. Next, I made a plan. I decided to focus on one thing at a time. First, I would improve my grammar. Then, I would build my vocabulary. After that, I would practice pronunciation and speaking. I started small. Every day I spent 30 minutes learning something new. Some days I studied tenses like past and present. Other days, I learned 5 new words. I also practiced speaking by talking to myself in front of a mirror. It felt strange at first, but it helped me gain confidence. At the same time, I made many mistakes. I still used the wrong words. I still pronounced things badly. I still felt nervous when speaking, but I didn't stop. I told myself, it's okay to make mistakes. Just keep going. Slowly, I started to see progress. My grammar got better. I learned how to use words like doesn't instead of don't. My vocabulary grew. I began using new words and sentences. I even practiced speaking with friends who were better at English. Looking back, I realized that starting was the hardest part. But once I started, everything became easier. The small steps I took each day helped me build a strong foundation. In the next part of this video, I will share the specific steps I took to improve. These tips can help you too, no matter where you are in your English journey. Step-by-step guide to improvement. Grammar was my weakest area, so I decided to tackle it first. I didn't try to learn everything at once. Instead, I focused on the basics. I started with tenses. I practiced simple sentences like, I eat breakfast every day, present tense. I ate breakfast yesterday, past tense. I will eat breakfast tomorrow, future tense. I wrote these sentences in a notebook and repeated them daily. This helped me understand how to use verbs correctly. Next, I worked on articles like a, an, and the. For example, I learned to say, I see a car instead of I see car. I also practiced prepositions like in, on, and at. I often made mistakes like saying, I am in the bus instead of I am on the bus. To test myself, I used free grammar apps and online exercises. They corrected my mistakes and explained the rules. Over time, I started making fewer errors. My sentences sounded better, and I felt more confident. Grammar is the foundation of English. If you build it strong, everything else becomes easier. When I started, my vocabulary was very small. I often used words like nice and big because I didn't know better alternatives. To improve, I made a habit of learning 5 new words every day. I wrote them on flashcards. On one side, I wrote the word. On the other side, I wrote its meaning and an example sentence. For example, word excited, meaning very happy. Example, I am excited to learn English. I also grouped similar words together. For instance, instead of just saying happy, I learned words like joyful, cheerful, and pleased. This helped me express myself better. Watching English movies and shows was another great way to learn vocabulary. When I heard a new word, I paused and wrote it down. Later, I looked up its meaning and practiced using it in sentences. Pronunciation was a big challenge for me. Many words in English are not pronounced the way they are spelled. To improve, I started listening to native speakers. I watched YouTube videos where people spoke slowly and clearly. I repeated after them, trying to match their tone and accent. I also used online dictionaries with audio features. When I looked up a word, I listened to its pronunciation and repeated it. For example, the word comfortable sounds like comfortable. Practicing tongue twisters helped me too. Sentences like, she sells seashells by the seashore improved my fluency and confidence. Speaking was the hardest part for me. I was afraid of making mistakes in front of others. To overcome this fear, I started talking to myself in English. Every morning I stood in front of a mirror and introduced myself. Hi, my name is John. I am learning English. I like reading and watching movies. I also practiced short conversations, imagining I was speaking to someone. This helped me get used to forming sentences quickly. Later, I found a language partner online. We talked through video calls for 10 minutes each day. They corrected my mistakes and encouraged me to keep trying. Speaking regularly made me more confident. I learned that making mistakes is okay as long as you learn from them. Improving my English didn't happen overnight. It took months of daily practice. Some days, I felt tired or unmotivated, but I reminded myself why I started. I set small, realistic goals. For example, today, I will learn 5 new words. Achieving these goals kept me motivated. I also celebrated my progress. When I completed a grammar exercise or had a good conversation, I told myself, "Good job, John." Small wins kept me moving forward. Consistency is the secret to success. Even if you practice for just 20 minutes a day, it will add up over time. How I faced my fear of mistakes. When I started speaking English, fear was my biggest obstacle. Every time I opened my mouth, I thought, what if I say the wrong thing? This fear stopped me from practicing, and I knew that without practice, I wouldn't improve. One day, I decided to face my fear. I remembered a quote, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it." I knew I had to stop worrying about what others thought and focus on my learning. Here's how I tackled my fear. The first step was changing my mindset. I told myself, everyone makes mistakes when they learn something new. Even native speakers don't always speak perfectly. I started seeing mistakes as opportunities to improve. If I said something wrong, I didn't feel embarrassed anymore. Instead, I thought, great. Now I know what to fix. At first, I practiced alone. I talked to myself in English while doing simple tasks, like cooking or cleaning. I also recorded my voice to hear how I sounded. Then I practiced with close friends who were supportive. They corrected my mistakes kindly and encouraged me to keep going. I learned to laugh at my mistakes. Once I told someone, "I am boring," instead of "I am bored." They laughed, and so did I. This made the experience less stressful and more enjoyable. I joined an online group for English learners. Everyone in the group was at different levels, and we all helped each other. Knowing that others were also making mistakes made me feel less alone. Each time I had a successful conversation or learned something new, I rewarded myself. Sometimes I treated myself to a small snack or watched my favorite movie. These rewards motivated me to keep trying. Facing my fear wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Over time, I became more confident. I realized that the fear of mistakes is just a barrier in the mind. Once you break through it, nothing can stop you. In the next part, I'll share how this confidence helped me achieve my goals in English. How confidence changed everything. Confidence is like a key that unlocks many doors. Once I overcame my fear of mistakes, I felt a change inside me. I started believing in myself. This belief gave me the courage to try new things and take risks. Here's how building confidence made a difference in my English journey. Before, I was too scared to speak in public. But as I practiced more, I became more comfortable. I started talking to strangers in English. At the store, I asked for items. At restaurants, I ordered food confidently. I even began sharing my thoughts in group discussions. I wasn't perfect, but I was no longer afraid. People noticed my effort and encouraged me, which boosted my confidence even more. Confidence opened up new opportunities for me. I applied for a part-time job where English was required. During the interview, I spoke with a smile and explained why I was the right person for the job. To my surprise, I got hired. The job gave me daily chances to use English. I spoke to customers, answered questions, and solved problems. Each interaction made me stronger and more fluent. I started enjoying English in a way I never had before. I watched movies without subtitles, read books, and listened to podcasts. This helped me pick up new words and understand different accents. My favorite activity was watching comedy shows. They taught me how to use humor and casual phrases, which made my conversations more natural. As my English improved, I began helping other learners. I shared my experiences and gave tips. Teaching others made me realize how far I had come. It also deepened my understanding of the language. With confidence, my dreams grew bigger. I started thinking about studying abroad or traveling to English-speaking countries. These were things I never thought I could do before. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means believing in your ability to improve. When you trust yourself, you can achieve anything. In the next section, I'll talk about the valuable lessons I learned during this journey. Lessons learned from my journey. Looking back, my English learning journey taught me valuable lessons, not just about language, but about life. These lessons shaped me into a stronger and more confident person. One of the biggest lessons I learned is the value of patience. At the start, I wanted quick results. I wanted to speak fluently in a month, but language learning doesn't work that way. Over time, I realized that small, consistent efforts lead to big improvements. Practicing daily, even for 20 minutes, made a huge difference. I learned to be patient with myself and trust the process. In the beginning, I saw mistakes as failures. I felt embarrassed when I said something wrong. But then I realized that mistakes are not bad. They are opportunities to learn. Every mistake showed me what I needed to work on. If I used the wrong word or mispronounced something, I would write it down and practice until I got it right. Motivation comes and goes. Some days I felt excited to learn English. Other days I felt tired or frustrated. I learned that consistency is more important than motivation. Even on bad days, I made sure to do something small, like revising vocabulary or listening to a short podcast. These small efforts kept me moving forward. Learning alone can be hard. Joining a supportive community made a huge difference for me. I found people who understood my struggles and celebrated my progress. Having a mentor or a partner to practice with is also very helpful. They can correct your mistakes and encourage you to keep going. At first, I focused too much on perfection. I wanted to speak like a native speaker, but this mindset made me feel discouraged. I learned to celebrate small wins instead. If I had a good conversation or understood a movie without subtitles, I celebrated. These moments reminded me of how far I had come. Learning English taught me more than just grammar and vocabulary. It helped me connect with people from different cultures. It showed me new ways of thinking and expressing myself. The most important lesson I learned is to believe in myself. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from trying, failing, and trying again. This journey wasn't just about learning English. It was about discovering my potential and proving to myself that I could achieve my goals. The power of persistence, looking ahead. As my journey continued, I realized that learning English was not just about reaching a final destination. It's a process that never truly ends. Once I reached one level, I set my sights on the next. The key was persistence, keeping up the effort no matter what. Here's how persistence has shaped my learning and continues to drive me forward. When I first started, my goal was simple: to speak English with confidence. Once I reached that goal, I set new ones. I wanted to have deep conversations, understand movies without subtitles, and even write essays in English. Setting new goals kept me motivated. Each time I achieved one, I set another bigger challenge. This kept the process exciting and made me feel like I was constantly improving. Learning English has been full of challenges. There were days when I felt like giving up. But I learned to embrace these challenges. For example, I once had a conversation with a native speaker that was so fast, I could barely keep up. It was frustrating. But instead of giving up, I saw it as an opportunity. I wrote down the words and phrases I didn't understand and worked on them. The next time I had a similar conversation, I was ready. Challenges helped me grow. They pushed me to stretch my abilities and go beyond what I thought was possible. I can't stress enough how important practice is. At times, it felt like I wasn't improving fast enough. But then I realized that every minute I spent practicing was building a stronger foundation. Even when I felt stuck, I kept practicing. I practiced speaking with language partners, reading articles, and listening to podcasts. Slowly but surely, my skills improved. One thing I learned is that persistence doesn't always mean doing more. Sometimes it's about doing the same thing consistently. Repetition is key. Reflecting on my progress has been incredibly helpful. I often look back at where I started and compare it to where I am now. This helps me see how much I've achieved and gives me the motivation to continue. Sometimes, when I feel like I'm not improving, I stop and reflect. I ask myself, what have I learned today? How did I improve this week? These moments of reflection help me appreciate my progress and encourage me to keep going. English learning is a lifelong process. Even now I make mistakes, and there are still words and phrases I don't know. But that's okay. I've accepted that I will never be done learning. In fact, I now find joy in discovering new things, new words, new ways of speaking, new idioms. Each day is an opportunity to improve and grow. Learning English has opened up many doors for me. I've traveled to English-speaking countries, made friends from around the world, and had countless opportunities for personal and professional growth. Looking ahead, I know that my English journey will continue. I will keep setting new goals, embracing challenges, and practicing every day. Persistence is the key to success. If you keep going, no matter how hard it gets, you will reach your goals. Embracing the future with English. Looking ahead, I see a world full of opportunities thanks to my journey with English. The language has opened so many doors for me, and I'm excited for the future. English is no longer just a tool for communication. It's a bridge that connects me to people, ideas, and experiences. It allows me to see the world from a different perspective. Here's how I plan to continue embracing the future with English. One of the most exciting parts of learning English is the endless possibilities it brings. I've already traveled to several English-speaking countries, but there's so much more to explore. I plan to visit more countries where English is spoken and experience different cultures. By speaking English, I can connect with people from all over the world, learn about their lives, and share my own experiences. English has opened up so many career opportunities for me. I'm able to apply for jobs that I couldn't have dreamed of before. I can now work in international companies, attend global conferences, and even collaborate with people from different parts of the world. In the future, I see myself using English to pursue new career goals, whether it's a promotion, a new job, or a freelance project. English will help me succeed. As I continue my English journey, I know I need to keep improving. The more I learn, the more I realize there's still so much to discover. I'm excited about the challenge of mastering new skills in English, like speaking with a more advanced accent, using more complex vocabulary, or writing better essays. I will keep reading, listening, and speaking in English every day, so I continue improving. My English journey has inspired me to help others. I want to share my story with other learners, especially those who feel discouraged or think they can't do it. I want to show them that it's possible to achieve anything with persistence and a positive mindset. By sharing my experiences, I hope to motivate others to keep going and never give up. English has become a part of my everyday life. I use it to watch movies, read books, listen to music, and interact on social media. It's a language that connects me to the world around me. Whether I'm chatting with a friend online, ordering food at a restaurant, or watching a YouTube video, English is always there. As I continue using English in my daily life, I know it will only become more natural. It's no longer something I have to think about. It's a part of who I am. Just like my past goals, I plan to set new ones. I'll keep challenging myself to reach higher levels in English. Whether it's by traveling, learning new phrases, or achieving a career milestone, I will always have something to strive for. I know the road ahead won't always be easy, but I'm ready for the challenge. The future looks bright, and I'm excited to see where English will take me next. Final thoughts. A journey of growth. As I come to the end of my English learning story, I reflect on how much I've grown, not just as a speaker of the language, but as a person. My journey was full of challenges, mistakes, and moments of doubt, but it was also full of victories, growth, and joy. English has changed my life in ways I never imagined. It has opened doors to new friendships, career opportunities, and experiences. But more than that, it has helped me become more confident, patient, and resilient. Here are my final thoughts on this journey. When I started, I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to speak like a native speaker. But over time, I realized that progress is what matters most. The key is not to focus on being perfect. Instead, focus on improving a little bit every day. Celebrate small victories, like understanding a new word or having a good conversation. These moments show how far you've come. I've learned that persistence is the key to success. There were times when I felt stuck, like I wasn't improving fast enough. But every day I kept going, even when it was hard. Now, I see how much I've achieved, and I'm proud of my persistence. I've learned that no matter how tough it gets, if you keep going, you will eventually get there. One of the most important lessons I've learned is to trust the process. Learning a language is a long journey, and it can be frustrating at times. But I've come to understand that every step, even the small ones, brings you closer to your goal. Patience, hard work, and consistency will always lead to success. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it feels slow. Learning English was never just about learning words. It was about connecting with people, understanding different cultures, and seeing the world in a new way. English is a bridge to understanding and empathy. It helps you see things from different perspectives and build relationships with people you might never have met otherwise. Now that I've reached certain milestones, I realize that the journey is far from over. There's always something new to learn, always a new challenge to face. I know that I will continue to learn and grow, and that's the beauty of it. Learning is not a destination. It's a never-ending journey that keeps expanding your world. Through it all, the most important lesson has been to believe in yourself. At the beginning, I didn't think I could ever speak English confidently, but here I am today, telling my story in English. If I can do it, so can you. Believe in your ability to improve and trust that your hard work will pay off. The sky is the limit when you believe in yourself and keep pushing forward. I'm grateful for every moment of this journey. Every mistake, every challenge, and every victory has been a part of my growth. Thank you for joining me as I shared my story. I hope it inspires you to keep going no matter what your goals are. Remember, English is not just a language. It's a key that opens many doors. So, let's keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in ourselves. The future is bright, and we are ready for it.